games finished all even at 99 and 63. And today, live from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, the second playoff game ever in the American League matches the Yankees and the Red Sox from Fenway Park. This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet and your Chevy dealers coast to coast. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. This has been, in many ways, an historic season for baseball. Total attendance more than 40 million, both the American and National Leagues going over 20 million. And that is the first time in baseball history that has ever happened. This being the second time in American League history that we have had a playoff game. It was 30 years ago here at historic old Fenway Park that Cleveland beat Boston by a score of 8-3. And we come to number 2. The Red Sox are right here, primed and ready to go. There are 2 men in this ballpark today who were involved in that 1948 game. The manager of the Yankees, Bob Lemon, was a starting pitcher with the Indians, and the Boston coach, Johnny Pesky, started at third base that day and got 1 base hit. The place is full. Why wouldn't it be? My goodness, if there isn't something about a moment like this in sports that stirs your faithful and rouses the competitive juices in a man, you got no business being involved in sports. Because this is one of those games that perhaps could be counted even more important than a World Series, or even more important than a playoff game, because those are series. This one, won. That's it. Bottom line, you win, you go to Kansas City to play the Royals for the American League Championship. You lose, you go home for the winner. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, and it's a tremendous thrill for me to be here at this old ballpark where for the second successive year they have drawn over 2 million, and the seating capacity is not that big, just under 34,000. We'll have more than that here today, but it speaks well of this old game that has gone on so well for so many years, and the drama that's come along this year as the Yankees threatened to come unglued early in the year. Bob Lemon took over July 25. Since that time, the Yankees have won 47 and lost 20. Don Zimmer sat almost helplessly and watched his Boston Red Sox slide from first place into second place. But here they are with one more chance to grab the ticket to Kansas City. Working with us today, Don Drysdale, who's been himself involved in moments like this. Both teams are tired, but so what?
Well, that's right, Keith. So what? Because they realize, as you say, the winner goes to Kansas City, the loser goes home and spends maybe a comfortable winter, maybe a miserable winter. But when we look at the 2 starting pitchers this afternoon, you're looking at a couple of things that are just a little bit different. Number 1, Ron Guidry has only pitched with 3 days rest 2 times this year. He's always worked with 4 days rest and pitched on the 5th. Bob Lemon geared him for this. He knew that if this came to be, he wanted his ace to go against the Boston Red Sox. And when you talk about that game years ago in 1948, the Cleveland Indians and the Boston Red Sox, and it's kind of fate would have it, because it was a left-hander at that time, Gene Bearden, who won the ball game for the Cleveland Indians, and at that time, of course, it was the Boston Red Sox who went home. But Mike Torres is going to try and counter that this afternoon. Last year, he was the kingpin in pinstripes for the New York Yankees. This year, wearing the uniform of the Boston Red Sox, coming over as a free agent, he'll try and turn the tide on his former teammates.
I would consider Mr. Guidry the Excalibur of the Yankee arsenal. He has been the man that has stopped them so many times this year. Coming out of a loss by the team, Guidry would come back and win one. Torres over the last month has not been that sharp.
He has not been that sharp. Matter of fact, the last time out, he had a very rocky game, and Don Zimmer said before the game, to see Mike Torres win that ball game 1-0, you really had to be here to see it and believe it, because he had 4 double plays behind him. He had 3-2 counts, 3 ball counts on all kinds of hitters. He walked 9 men, but still, that's the way the Red Sox were going, and maybe that was fate to be, because they are here this afternoon. He wins it 1-0, and he comes back the starting pitcher. And by the way, he is starting on his regular turn. Don Zimmer did not change his pitching lineup whatsoever. This would have been the day that Torres would have pitched, whether it was here or it might be next spring.
I realize this is a working day, first day of a new week, but grab as much time as you can, because we're going to have some fun at Fenway Park this afternoon.
At Avco Financial Services, our people have a certain spirit.
Avco is me.
And here's what that means to you.
First thing I always do is smile and say hi.
My customers know me. We on a one-to-one basis.
We pride ourselves in being courteous.
We try to answer the phone on the first ring. We're professionals, all of us.
When the customer comes in, I want them to think of Avco as Chuck.
Avco Financial Services. Our people put you in the best company.
Your cooling system was corroded. That'll be $76 for parts, $28 for labor.
What?
You should have kept your guard up.
My radiator's steaming. I need a tow. Should have kept your guard up.
When winter hits, keep your guard up. Installed properly, DowGuard antifreeze protects against corrosion. And DowGuard guards your car down to 34 below. DowGuard antifreeze.
Take it from me. Keep your guard up.
If you suffer with athlete's foot, you should know what these students helped us prove. Here at the University of New Mexico in a major clinical study, proof that nothing is more effective than Desinex. We used students with sore, itching athlete's foot to test #1 Desinex against the 2 other leading brands. Results? New scientific evidence that short of a prescription, nothing is better than Desinex. Nothing. So if you're still suffering with athlete's foot, don't blame Desinex.
The preceding was a message on behalf of Major League Baseball.
As we take a look at the New York Yankee lineup, there's Mickey Rivers, and he is the catalyst of this ball club. Leading off and in center field, Thurman Munson. Behind the plate and doing the catching and batting second. Hitting third, and once again over the 300 mark in right field is Lou Piniella. The man who came on strong, Reggie Jackson, in the last part of the year, the designated hitter for manager Bob Lemon, hitting in the 4th spot. And there's a man who's been red hot, Greg Nettles, at third base. He will hit 5th. Batting 6th and at first base, Chris Chambliss, 274 on the year. And Roy White, the veteran, out in left field. He will bat 7th. Hitting 8th, Brian Doyle at second base. A late scratch, of course. The fine second baseman, Manley, is hurt. And there's Bucky Dent, the shortstop. He will bat 9th. And the starting pitcher, Ron Guidry, as the Boston Red Sox take the field, Keith.
And the crowd roaring. The crowd started roaring when Mike Torres started his walk from the Boston bullpen toward the dugout. And they have not stopped since. But the decibel count did go up some when the team came on the field. And as they go into their defensive positions, let's set the Boston defense for you this afternoon. Playing at Fenway Park, of course, you're dealing with the old monster, the green wall that is just a short distance away from home plate. You look at it and you think, why, my grandson could hit one over that. It's not that easy. The wind is blowing in, and Carl Yastrzemski is as skillful as anybody playing caroms off that wall. He's so many times in his career held swift people to singles. Out in center field, a man who's been carrying a red-hot bat, a fine defensive player, Fred Lynn. Over in right field is where the change is. Jim Rice, Major League Baseball's leading hitter of 1978, is in right field. Normally, you'd expect Dwight Evans, but he's not there. At third base, it is Jack Brohammer, and the Red Sox win streak started when he moved to third, replacing sore-armed Butch Hobson. Rick Burleson has probably been playing the best baseball of anybody over the last month. At second base, Jerry Remy, little fella who is a fire plug and a fighter all the way. Great speed. The boomer, George Scott, at first base. That has been relatively quiet this year, but he is always a threat at the plate. Behind the plate for Boston, the man who stabilizes this entire team, Carlton Pudge Fisk. And on the mound, the big right-hander, Mike Torres, who got a couple of wins in the World Series for the Yankees a year ago. In Boston this year, those are his numbers. And he has not been particularly effective over the last month. In that victory that he got 1-0, that was so encouraging for Zip Zimmer and the entire Red Sox organization, one must remember that there were 4 double plays turned behind him. So we're ready to go. Put it on the table, and let's see what happens. The umpires today, and this is an umpiring crew that we saw on a Monday night game when the Yankees were in Baltimore. And during that series between Yankee and Baltimore people, it was firecracker week. Don Denkinger, Jim Evans at first base, Al Clark at second, and Steve Palermo at third base. And all 4 of those umpires have had their moments this season with the New York Yankees. Mickey Rivers will lead off. Thurman Munson, as Don noted, is hitting in the number 2 spot. Ordinarily, that would be Willie Randolph, but he has a very sore pulled hamstring. And having Randolph out of the lineup is going to be a problem for this New York ball club, because Randolph had been hitting so well in the late portions of the season. He's a contact hitter. With Mickey Rivers on first base, you got to have a contact man at the plate, which is why Thurman Munson has been moved into that number 2 position.
Now, that's right, Keith. Thurman Munson can spray the ball all around the ballpark. He can hit it out of the ballpark for you, but he can use the entire playing field, and that's what Bob Lemon wants. So Mike Torres, Mickey Rivers, and we're ready to go.
It is low, ball 1. The winner of this game will go to Kansas City for the American League Playoff Series, which starts tomorrow night against the Royals. Prohammer is in on the grass at third base. And the pitch is high. 2 balls and no strikes. And in a sudden death moment like this, you do not want to get behind very many hitters, and particularly this Yankee ball club. Ball 3.
Now, the big thing that will happen right here at times, and not only to a veteran like Mike Torres, it'll happen to anybody. And if someone says they're not nervous, they are just flat telling a fib right there, because you've got to be nervous in a game like this. And the thing that you want to try and stay away from, it'll take a little while at times, but you try not to overthrow. And he walks Rivers, and he doesn't come close.
So Mike Torres is yet to find the strike zone, and now he will face Thurman Munson with Lou Piniella moving to the on-deck circle. Torres has had no arm trouble this season. His record 16-12. Pitching to Munson now at a .297 average and 70 runs batted in. The wind is not that strong, but the big flag in left center field is moving quite a bit. So it's going to cut down the distance for fly balls hit to left, but might very well help those hit to right. Rivers, 23 stolen bases, been caught 5 times. They play on real grass here at Fenway Park in Boston. Rivers edging off first base as Torres checks him, and he goes, and the pitch is high, and the throw through, and he's safe.
Well, Mike Torres is an ideal type pitcher to steal off of, because he has that live high kick, leg kick, and you see Rivers with his lead, not a real big lead, and now the high leg kick, and he has it beaten easily. Actually, the throw was a good throw by Carlton Fisk, as Remy had to move just a little bit in front of the bag, and then come back with a tag, but Al Clark right there to make the call, and the Yankees threaten very quickly.
Nobody out. Munson at the bat. Outfielder straight away for Thurman Munson defensively. That's a strike.
Now, here's where you get a man who you can use the bat. You talked about Willie Randolph not being in the lineup. Thurman Munson inserted in that number 2 spot. Munson will be trying to move his man to that third base, and he will be trying to move the ball to the right side if he possibly can.
Torres goes outside.
The thing about Torres, if he's going to be successful, he's got to try and keep the ball down. Mike throws fairly good, but he doesn't throw that hard that he can overpower you and keep riding that ball high.
1-3 against the Yankees this year. Munson swing played and misses, and that time Torres came inside with him. Munson trying to ride it off to the right side, and Mike just blew it by him.
And that's exactly what Thurman was trying to do. There you look at the distances, and there's all kinds of angles here at Fenway Park in Boston. But Munson trying to drag his hands through and move the ball to the right side, and Torres at that time did get it in a good spot. I think he fooled Thurman.
That pitch bounces at the plate. Rivers holds at second base. No advance. The count now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out, and Mickey Rivers, who walked the lead, stole second, and now sits out there. And Torres mops his brow. It is not a warm afternoon. It is most crisp and comfortable. I guess you would call it perfect pitching weather.
It is. It's just like a fall day here in Boston. The temperatures, they said, were going to be in about, the middle 60s, maybe the high 60s, and that is perfect.
Dick Hauser coaching at third, Gene Michael at first. They throw back to second, and Rivers easily back in there. Fenway Park in Boston, second successive year, the Red Sox have drawn over 2 million. Not that big a ballpark. Stanley is up in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Hudson strikes out. Thurman trying to go to right with it. Couldn't make contact, and that's the first out of the ball game.
And there's the case of a man, as we look at it again, having confidence in himself, even with a count 3-2. Munson is going to try and go to the opposite field and could not make the contact. You'll see a lot of hitters at that time when they get to count 3-2. They say, well, I've got to go for myself. I've got to hit the ball somewhere and keep it in play. Munson going against that theory and still trying to go to the opposite field. Could not do it.
Lou Piniella, 314 hitter, playing right field today. With one out, Mickey Rivers still at second base. Roll to third. Brohammer gloves it. Chases Rivers back. 2 out.
Now there's a play right there where Brohammer had the advantage. The ball hit to the hole. And Piniella does not run that good. Now watch how long Brohammer, as he makes the play, the ball comes up on him, which is a break there. And now he's able to hold on and still check Rivers back to the bag. He was able to take a few more steps towards second base. There was nobody covering third, and Rivers, you knew, wanted to go if he could.
Reggie Jackson, the designated hitter, hitting in the number 4 position. Month of September, 7 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Reggie says in dog days, get down towards the latter part of the season, pitchers lose a yard off the hot stuff. A little easier to reach. 26 home runs on the season. 2 out. Rivers at second. This crowd so responsive at Fenway Park. You sit right down among them. They sit right next to the playing area. Strike one on Jackson.
You can see Torres now. He's got a few pitches under his belt, starting to settle down just a little bit, and that is only natural, Keith.
Hard not to let the emotions bubble a little bit in a moment like this. But two. That was a fastball, a Torres fastball.
He had something on that when he had it in a good location. And it's got to be an advantage for the Boston Red Sox playing here at Fenway. Even though you've got that green monster in left field, the Yankees can sting you with a long ball as well as the Red Sox. But these fans, they make it a little bit on the Red Sox side.
Reggie has struck out 38 times in his last 26 games. So Torres trying to get him right here. The ball is hit high in the air to left field. Carl Yastrzemski going back to the wall. Makes the catch. Yankees waste Mickey Rivers at second base after 1/2 inning of play in this sudden death playoff game. No score.
Gillette track 2, please.
Sold out again. Say, you look like a double-edged man to me. Daring, unafraid.
No, the Gillette track 2 gives me a more comfortable shave.
Silly me.
Burleson will lead it off. He'll be at shortstop. And the scrappy little guy, Jerry Remy, batting second and at second base. Jim Rice with 46 home runs on the year in right field. The veteran Carl Yastrzemski in left field. 16 home runs on the year, 79 RBIs. And Carlton Fisk, who handles his staff so well, batting fifth, doing the catching. Hitting sixth, the red-hot bat of Freddie Lynn in the lineup in that sixth position in center field. The designated hitter is Butch Hobson. Hobson can't throw across the infield, but Zimmer will use his bat. And the boomer George Scott hitting eighth. He's at first base. And batting ninth, Jack Brohammer, who has filled in very well for the Red Sox this year.
Defensively for the Yankees, it is White, Rivers, Piniella in the outfield. Third to first, it's Nettles, Dent, Doyle, and Chambliss. Munson back at the plate, and Ron Guidry on the mound. Ron Guidry, first time with 3 days rest was September 24. The first pitch to Rick Burleson, fouled away. Toronto knocked him out in 1 2/3 innings. He pitched again with 3 days rest on September 28th. And he probably came back quickly because he had only thrown 35 pitches when Toronto chased him in 1 2/3. So here he is. A lithe left-hander, 160-pounder, maybe. Rocks in his pocket. 24-3 on the year. Breaks that hard slider off inside, an almost impossible pitch to handle if he gets good location with it.
That is a super pitch, and when he keeps that down and right in on those right-handers' knees, it is an awfully tough pitch to hit.
Just off the outside corner, and the count now on the leadoff man for the Red Sox, Rick Burleson. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Don, I don't believe anybody works harder at getting the leadoff man in the inning than this fellow Guidry. And obviously, he's been successful at it. The record tells you.
Well, that's the most important hitter in any inning.
He comes high, and he goes. Did he call it strike? Whoa. Burleson making some noise about it as he walks away, having looked at a called 3rd strike.
Well, it was a pitch before that Guidry thought he had, and this time it was Burleson who thought that it missed. And we take another peek at it. Trying to bring it from the outside in, and Denkinger says he got it.
And 1 gone. Jerry Remy, 276 hitter, the second baseman for the Red Sox, leans away and takes it high and tight for ball 1. Remy has hit safely in 26 of 27 games when he was hurt August 25. High pop. It'll go out into the left field area where Roy White, the senior Yankee, makes the catch for out number 2.
Keith, when you look at these 2 starting lineups here, the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, there's a 100-point difference. There's a hand in the background as Jim Rice comes on. The Yankee starting lineup against Mike Torres this year has hit at a 307 combined mark. The Red Sox against Guidry this year have hit 100 points below 207.
Wow. But here is the man who led the major leagues in hits, in total bases, in triples, in home runs, in runs batted in slugging. Right.
You think that little guy from Louisiana didn't challenge him right there?
Back 2.
You can't ask for 2 better pitches in the last 2 fastballs thrown by Mr. Guidry.
Low, 1 and 2. 2 out and nobody on. No score. First inning. Yankees and Red Sox. The winner goes into the American League playoffs against Kansas City tomorrow night in Kansas City. Close, but it's missed. And it's 2 and 2. Rice with his 46th home run yesterday, punctuating Louis Tiant's 2-hitter. The victory that put the Red Sox in this game. He's gone. And so Ron Guidry gets the Red Sox in order in the bottom of the first inning after 1. In Boston, we have no score.
From the wheat fields out in Kansas to the city by the bay.
Leading off for the Yankees, Greg Nettles, 3rd baseman. Before the ball game, I talked to the veteran about the Boston pitcher Torres.
Greg, how do you feel about Mike Torres? Now, you were a teammate with him a year ago. Today, in a big money ball game, you're going to be looking at him.
Yeah, I had a lot of respect for Mike last year, and I lost a lot of that respect over the winter when he was traded over here. He had some bad things to say about us as a team and individually, too. Rather than thanking us for the job we did for him and getting him a nice contract with the Red Sox, he turned around and badmouthed us, and it really hurt a lot of the guys on this club. They lost a lot of respect for him in that way. But you know he's a good pitcher, and we'd like to beat him more than anybody on that club.
So Greg Nettles will step in now with Chris Chambliss on deck and Roy White to follow. And Nettles at 278 on the season with 27 home runs. And he's had a tremendous year at the plate. His previous best was a 267 average back in '75. And he also leads New York this year in 13 game-winning base hits.
Now, time delayed just a little bit, Keith. They had some banners hanging over the bleacher section out there right by the yellow line in center field. They had to strip all those down. They felt as though that it could impair the view of the hitter and picking up the wall. They're pulling down all the signs out there. And there's signs all over the ballpark. There's no question about that. You know that you're in Red Sox country right here, but they want to try and get him down and let everybody have an equal shake.
I think every bellhop in town was wearing a Red Sox cap who came in. There are some of the banners there. Those I don't think will bother anybody, but those that were pulled down were in the center field area where it could be that a hitter would lose a baseball in one of those white signs. Standing room crowd here at Fenway Park in Boston. Beautiful afternoon, and we're ready to go as Nettles steps in. No score, top of the second inning. In September, Nettles can hit anybody. Takes that pitch high and tight for ball one. High to the infield. Rick Burleson back shades his eyes from the bright sun. Makes the catch. Don Zimmer said Burleson had made some plays that could in the years to come become legendary. He just feels that this young man has played remarkable baseball for the last month. But I have a feeling that he's been pretty remarkable the whole season.
He's had a good year, and it really hurt him when he was out for a while and injured, also when Jerry Remy was out for a while, but now they've got him back in there. Boy, I'll tell you, they make a great double play combination. Burleson you're looking at, and Remy the second baseman.
Yankee first baseman Chris Chambliss takes inside ball one. Chris is struggling at the plate right now. He has 3 hits in his last 24 at-bats, all of them singles. The big quiet man, so steady. There's a strike. It's 1-1. With 1 out and Roy White on deck. Close, just inside. 2 balls. Shot to Boomer. George Scott gloves it at first base. 2 out.
It's going to be interesting to watch how Torres carries his stuff throughout the course of the game. Before his last start, he really was downhearted. He didn't know, got just frustrated, didn't know what to do. He was throwing his fastball, his slider, and just getting his brains beat out, so they decided, along with Carlton Fisk, he starts throwing a curveball a little bit, mix in a change every now and then. And that's exactly the way that he won his last ball game. And it's going to be interesting to watch and see how he does and moves his stuff around the command that he has in this game.
Switch hitter Roy White, the senior member of the Yankee playing roster, inside. Started playing regularly when Billy Martin stepped out and Bob Lemon took over. And we told you, under Bob Lemon, the Yankees are 47-20. Swing and a miss. With 2 out and nobody on. Torres walked Mickey Rivers to lead the ball game. Mickey stole second, expired there as Torres got the next 3 Yankees in order, and now he's retired 5 in a row. Foul into the crowd.
Well, the one thing that you do know this afternoon, that Bob Lemon and Don Zimmer, they will go to their starters and staff, because as both of them have commented, there is no tomorrow.
Bob Stanley will get the call if Torres runs into trouble. Taking the miss, he struck him out. And that is the second strikeout of the ball game for Mike Torres. The Yankees are gone in order after 1.5 innings of play in Boston. No score.
Cross Your Heart Bras, one of many popular products from Playtex, known and used by women the world over.
You know, a lot of people...
The crowd is standing, roaring their appreciation of Carl Yastrzemski. Before the game, Don Drysdale talked with Yaz.
Is this the biggest game that you've ever participated in?
Without any doubt, at this stage in my career, I know I have a few more years left. I'd like to win a World Championship. It definitely is the biggest game in my career. I think if we just played like we have the past 2 weeks, not give the Yankees any runs, make them earn them, I think we'll win.
Guidry, a great record. But
Carl Yastrzemski has just hit it in the seats. down the right field line. And the Boston Red Sox lead 1-0.
Well, Yastrzemski, he carried the bat down past the 45-foot line. He got almost to first base. That was a line shot hooking in the corner. And there you see the Boston Red Sox, Don Zimmer and crew. And he let the bat fly. Johnny Pesky leaped like it was the third out in the ninth inning. And the Red Sox on top, 1-0.
Carl Yastrzemski, who turned 39 in late August, says he will play as long as he can without embarrassing the club. He would never embarrass any club. Came out, took his bow, and the crowd now settles down as Carlton Fisk stands at the plate with the Red Sox on top. 1-0. Pretty good year for Bud Fisk at the plate. 20 home runs. Oh.
Now there, a little case of Guidry overthrowing, and I think, you know, he's got to have some things going on inside of him, too.
Fisk playing with very sore rib. Banged him against the dugout, trying to catch a foul ball. Ball 2. He was hitting above 300 with a cracked rib in August. Hampered his swinging and his throwing. He had only 262 in August, but says he's so pumped up for this one today, he will feel no pain. Yastrzemski's home run, giving Boston a 1-0 lead, and there's a shot hit to left field, way back. White going to the track and makes the catch. Wynn got it and held it.
He got that fastball in just a little bit. And Fisk hit that ball around the trademark, or maybe a little bit down. That shows you his kind of power. The breeze kind of changing just a little bit now, Keith. It's kind of blowing across and maybe just in from right field. It'll casually move that flag to the green monster in left field.
Fred Lynn hits it high and deep to center. Rivers goes way back and hauls it down. The speed of Mickey Rivers, so valuable in center field. He turned on the ball, raced back to the track, then he flipped down his glasses and had a look, and there it was. 2 out.
You know, isn't it something that it takes the grizzled old veteran, Carl Yastrzemski, to come out and said, okay, boys, if I can do it, you can too.
Butch Hobson, the designated hitter, swings and misses for strike 1. The regular third baseman, but he had such a sore arm, he just simply could not do the job defensively at third. That's why Brohammer is there. Hobson fouls it back. Butch on the year with 17 home runs. He wore out the league in the early goings. But the last half of the season, not that much. Foul straight back. He carried the team, I think, as a fair comment time. Month of April, he had 7 home runs and 22 runs batted in when the Red Sox got off to such a big start.
He did. He got off to a great start.
Torres, Guidry high and away, and now it's Ron Guidry doing a bit of struggling.
Don Zimmer said that he just had to get him out of there as a regular, and that's when he's inserted Brohammer at third, or at times Duffy. He said he just couldn't get the ball across the infield. And he said, I had to do something, but he said I still had to keep his bat in there because he's getting a few hits.
Bounced at third for Nettles. Greg throws him out. The inning is over. But the Boston Red Sox get a home run from Carl Yastrzemski, his 17th of the year, and take the lead 1-0.
You know me as Mr. Goodwrench, the professional mechanic who cares about your GM cars.
So advanced, it's simple.
When you go shopping, you go to a supermarket. But did you ever wonder where Giant Industries shop? When industry goes shopping for firefighting systems, for automotive components, for true temper golf shafts, for stainless steel, they shop at one place. The place? Allegheny Ludlam Industries. The supermarket.
Among the crowd this afternoon here at Fenway Park, Senator Ted Kennedy, munching on peanuts and enjoying himself. For the New York Yankees, it'll be Brian Doyle, the second baseman, Bucky Dent, the shortstop, the top of the order, Mickey Rivers. Doyle playing in place of Willie Randolph, out with a very sore pulled left hamstring. Brian Doyle from Cave City, Kentucky. Came over from the Texas Rangers in 1977. Hits it in the air to the right side. Second baseman Jerry Remy goes back and calls and makes the catch. Tonight on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football live at 9 Eastern Time, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. The Cowboys beaten only by the Los Angeles Rams. The Washington Redskins are undefeated, and right now Joe Theismann is the leading passer in the National Football Conference. It's a big one as the Cowboys and the Redskins get together tonight at 9 over most of these ABC stations. Bucky Dent up for the first time in the ball game, the Yankee shortstop. In what is now called the Boston Massacre from the 1978 baseball season, Bucky Dent wore out the Red Sox pitchers. There's a strike. He had 7 hits and 15 at-bats with 7 runs batted in. And that was a series that Don Zimmer characterized as just simply blowing us away as the Yankees beat them 15-3, 13-2, 7-0, and 7-4. 2 balls to a strike.
One thing I think we should point out, somebody might be interested, a home run by Carl Yastrzemski, that will count on this year's averages in 1978.
Punched out into short right center field. Jim Rice coming in a hurry, and Jim Rice makes the catch. Yes, he is a good defensive outfielder.
Now Rice with an excellent jump, and this ball now, as the breeze is blowing out to left, it has turned around, trying to slice back into the breeze, and a ball actually being held up a little bit, and Rice has good speed for a big man, and he comes on and makes the play easily. It appeared that he was the only one that could have made the play. There you look at it from another angle. And Rice right there.
2 out for the top of the order for the Yankees. Mickey Rivers walked and stole second. There he stopped. Swing and a miss for Mickey. Strike 1. Rohammer again comes in on the grass at third base, lest Mickey decide to put it down. High and tight. 2 out. The Red Sox are leading by a score of 1-0 on Carl Yastrzemski's home run. The lead off the bottom of the second inning. That is pulled sharply down the right field line. It's fair ball. Mickey Rivers around first, heading for second. Jim Rice comes in. He has it. Rivers pulls up, stand-up double. Got to keep this guy off the bases, but if you're going to have him on bases, you're better off to have him out there with 2 out.
That's right, and that ball, there was no chance for George Scott. It was hit hard down the line, and then after it did hit the wall, it kind of stuck a little bit. There's padding along there. It hit that wall and didn't really carry him back out to Rice the way that you would expect it to. It just kind of rolled back out there a little bit, and Rice along to go, but I don't think he could have thrown Mickey out anyway.
So the Yankees with Rivers on second base with 2 out at the top of the third inning. Thurman Munson at the plate to face Torres. Thurman struck out swinging in the first inning, but then he was trying to punch the ball to the right side to move the man along. Now, with 2 out, he can wheel away. Foul, out of play. Wind has shifted a little bit now. If flag tells us anything, it probably will be less a problem for the right-handed batters. Swung around.
Well, it's turned 180 degrees, Keith, from the first time that we stepped foot in this ballpark this morning.
Rivers off second. Pitch bounces well in front of the plate. Bud's Fisk blocks it.
That's a super play by Fisk. And keeping that ball right there, and Rivers has to stay at second base. Big thing right here, when you're working, you can't worry about the speed of Rivers at second base or him taking third. As long as you just make him stop out there, you've got to get the man at the plate because you've got the tying run standing at second base.
Munson back in. Pinella's on deck. Top of the third. 1-0 Boston. Hit down the right side. Foul in the crowd. It's a souvenir. both the sore hand and the ball.
Now, that's what we say about Thurman Munson. He uses all the lines, the right side and the left side, and he'll hit it anywhere. And at times you think you've made a real good pitch on him, and all of a sudden he'll just take and he'll go right with you to the right side and hit it all over.
Good spirits. I talked to him earlier today, said this is my kind of ball game. Rivers edges off. Crowd yells, then groans. They did not get the strike call.
Torres had a little something on that fastball.
2-2, 2 out. Rivers at second. Swings, foul, tips. Throw to first, inning is over. Guess he didn't foul tip it. Thought for a moment that he had. Throws him out. After 2.5, 1-0 Boston.
The problem? After New
It really does help you go farther on a gallon of gasoline. And it saves you oil changes, too. They call it Pennzoil PZL. I call it a winner.
Not a very good example of what one little mistake can mean. Now, that ball popped out of Fisk's glove. Was not a foul tip. As both Fisk and Munson broke toward first base, Mike Torres, watching them go toward first, actually went that way with them. Mickey Rivers was pumping around third. There was nobody covering home plate.
That's exactly right.
Pitch is high and tight to George Scott with Jack Brohammer on deck and Rick Burleson to follow.
The Boomers had some problems this year, but he's always a threat.
Like that, high drive, center field, Rivers going back. It's off the wall. Scott going for two. The throw's in a hurry. It comes to the second baseman, Doyle. Cut-off man, he holds it, and Scott stands at second with a double. Lead-off man is on second base.
Now that is the power of George Scott. He's the right center, left center. That is his power. Rivers, he sees he can't make the play, but he plays the carom perfectly and gets it back in and hits his cutoff man, Brian Doyle. And Mickey Rivers now is coming back into the Yankee dugout. Whether he needs glasses or he didn't take them out, I don't know. But the bat boy moving on out. And evidently, maybe the glasses broke on him or he's got the wrong glasses. But now he'll take another pair, and you can see he's a little hot because he might have lost that ball in the sun a little bit.
He might well, if he had gone to the wall and jumped, had been able to reach it because it didn't hit that high on the wall.
No, it certainly did not, and evidently that's the case, that Mickey did lose it because just watching the reaction of Rivers, he's a little hot. He threw a couple of pair back in the dugout, and he might have had the wrong pair. They could have got switched in the dugout during the inning or what have you, and now he'll stand out there and he will double check.
Jack Brohammer signed in the free agent re-entry draft November 1977. He's played second, third, and designated hitter. He puts it down. Scott going to third. Throw to first. Sacrifice works.
Now there you see Don Zimmer not going to take any chances. He's not even going to let him swing the bat and try and hit it to the right side. He says, I'm going to go by the book in this particular situation. Lay it down, get the man over. We'll go from here as they go to the top of the order and Rick Burleson.
Red Sox leading 1-0 on Yastrzemski's 17th home run of the season. In the bottom of the second inning to lead off. Now it's the top of the order, Burleson, who struck out looking on a high curve. You can see that he has been a pesky fellow for Ron Guidry. Guidry with a 1.50 earned run average against the Boston Red Sox this season. But the Sox are snarling today, and the pitch is low, ball one. Infield is up as Burleson stands in. Homered yesterday, a two-run shot. Pitch is low. Burleson wants the ball check. They throw it out. Don Deckinger, the home plate umpire.
And the Yankees have brought their infield in.
Ball is hit to Greg Nettles at third. Scott will have to hold on. Throw across, 2 down. Eddie Yost coaching at third. Johnny Pesky coaching at first for Boston. The batter, Jerry Remy. Red Sox with 2 hits. Home run by Yastrzemski, double by Scott. Scott's double led this inning. He's at third. It'll take a base hit or a mistake to deliver him now. Strike.
That is a nasty pitch from a left-hander to a left-hander right there. Jerry just said, well, I'll give you that one.
Just outside. Remy hitting .344 over the last 15 games. And over the last 15 games, where the Red Sox found a second win. On the outside corner, Remy beats on it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. George Scott at third.
And let's look at that last pitch one more time. A little delayed call by Denkinger.
Hit in the air to left field. Roy White makes the catch, and the inning is over. So the Red Sox threaten with Scott's leadoff double, but they can't bring him home. And after 3 innings of play, it's Boston 1, New York nothing.
My old buddy Jim.
Bill White has joined us, and Bill, we've seen some clutch pitching on both sides early in this ball game.
Torres looks like he's got an excellent slider. He got Munson twice with that slider. I don't know how long he can get away with 2 pitches, though. Frankie's throwing that fastball and the slider. One key point here, that shadow. Prior to the ball game, the Yankees were complaining they couldn't see well in batting practice, and as that shadow moves out toward the mound, I think both teams once again will have trouble seeing the baseball. Of course, that'll be in the Red Sox favor because they already lead 1-0.
So important to get that early score, especially in a ball game like this. Lou Piniella leads off for the Yankees as we go to the 4th. Lou grounded out to the third baseman, Brohammer. Strike 1. Red Sox 1 run, 2 hits. The Yankees no runs, 1 hit. And it's off the glove of Burleson, a base hit for Piniella.
Now Lou's now hitting 12 straight, and he continues to hit. Let's watch it again. The pitch is right down the middle. Piniella chops it past Brohammer. See the ball hit in Burleson's webbing and bounced out. Base hit for Lou Piniella.
Piniella hit that ball just like he did the first time up, only he got it to the left side of the third baseman where he could not reach it. Chopped down on the ball the first time up and grounded right to Brohammer. Reggie Jackson missed a home run with the wind blowing against him. I think that wind held his ball in play in the first inning. Now the wind is blowing toward left field as it has turned around since the start of the game. Ball 1.
There was a breaking ball. I think that's the first curveball that Torres has thrown all afternoon. He's been throwing that hard slider inside and that hard high fastball.
Piniella is down at first, nobody out. Red Sox lead 1-0. He hit it well, but Rice is there and picks it off. Rice made a good throw back to first base.
Well, you can't hit the ball any harder than that, Frank Messer. The Red Sox fortunate that they evidently had the book on Jackson. They had Rice just where he should be. Bang, right there. He didn't get under the ball. Had he gotten under it, the ball might have hit that Prudential building about 5 miles from here.
I tell you, Rice made a strong throw back to Scott at first base, trying to double Piniella off. Jim Rice, not noted for his outfield play, noted for his bat.
Well, he's made 2 good plays.
He has.
Made a good play on Bucky Dent running into right center field back in the 3rd inning.
He's the only one that could have caught that ball. Good defensive book. Right field's a tough field here in Boston, too. It is the Sun Field. Greg Nettles takes the ball. They shade Nettles just a bit to the right side. Piniella at first, one out. Out in front of it and fouled it back.
Took a little off that pitch.
Mike Torres, his 36th start. Pitched 243 innings in his first 35 starts, 267 hits. Struck out 116, walked 96 men. Really brought his earned run average down, even though he had a bad losing string late in the season. And the ERA well over 4 for most of the year. Nettles takes him the other way, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nettles popped up to the shortstop his first time at bat on a half swing. Red Sox are leading 1-0 on a Yastrzemski home run. Popped him up again into shallow left. And again, the shortstop Burleson is there. Well, Torres twice has pitched tough to Nettles.
This ball will be inside, Frank. Fisk gave the sign of a fastball inside. He gets it right in there, right there. Nettles got it in on the bat just a little bit too much and popped it up. I don't think you can consistently pitch Nettles there, especially as the ball game wears along and that fastball loses a little bit of the velocity.
Chris Chambliss steps in. Chambliss hit the ball hard, but right at George Scott. He had a good swing, fouled it back. Yankees have 2 hits, a double by Rivers and a single by Piniella. They've had Rivers at second base twice, but unable to score him. Both times, Munson struck out as the next hitter. The shortstop Burleson has it right at the bag and steps on second for the unassisted force. At the end of 3 1/2, it's Boston 1, New York nothing.
The Quintrix 2-color picture.
Well, now's the time to start thinking about season tickets for the 1979 Yankee games. Be assured of the best seats for all the action next year by having your own full season or combination plan. For more information, call Group and Season Sales at 212-293-6000. That number again, 212-293-6000. Oh, we see the flag, Frank Lesser, blowing a bit toward left field instead of toward right field as it was earlier in the ball game. And I think each time Rice has been up, that wind has turned around and blown toward left.
You're absolutely right, Bill. That was the first time it turned around when Rice came to bat in the first inning. But nonetheless, Guidry struck him out. Guidry struck out 2 of the 3 hitters in the first. He has not struck out a man since. Yastrzemski hit a home run to right. Scott has doubled. Those are the only 2 Boston hits. Foul back, out of play on the right side. Perfectly clear day here in Boston. Jim Rice has had an outstanding year. Just really an almost unbelievable year. Out of play.
Guidry's the kind of pitcher, Frank, that gives Rice a lot of trouble. He can't afford to wait back on the ball. He's got to hurry because he knows that ball's coming in there 95, 96 miles an hour. He's a better hitter when he can sit back and wait on the ball.
That will be a foul ball, and it's going to be out of play. Ron Guidry throughout the year pitched on 4 days rest. Now he is pitching on 3 days rest as it comes down to the end of the campaign. Bucky Dent. Bad throw. Chambliss had to tag Rice. Bucky Dent has had trouble with his throws quite a few occasions this year.
And let's watch it again. It's a grass cutter to Bucky Dent, and he's got plenty of time. Comes up with the ball here. Throws it high. Now, lucky Chambliss keeps that ball in the first baseman's mitt. Sometimes you hit that like that, and the ball flies out, especially a big guy like Rice running.
All right, there is one away, and the batter, Carl Yastrzemski, gets quite an ovation. His home run leading off the second, the only score in this game. Ball one. It was his 17th home run of the year. 39 years old, just signed a new 5-year contract.
How many years, you say?
I told 5 years. He had said that next year might be his last year, but evidently has changed his mind.
Maybe that's a year of playing and 4 years of PR like Willie McCovey got with the San Francisco Giants.
I don't know what the fine print says, but I tell you, got a guy like Yastrzemski around, I think you give him just about anything he wants.
Well, Father Time eventually catches up with you, though. When you can't contribute anymore, I think Yaz will know when he should quit, though, probably better than I.
Two balls and 2 strikes on him.
And Ted Williams played into his 44th year. Stan Musial played through his 44th year.
Of course, Ted had all those years out for military service. And what that would add to or subtract from. Had him way out in front, and he fouled it off. Yastrzemski has played hurt a lot this year. He's got a back problem.
Got a bad hand, too.
Yeah. You know, Bill White, the team that's benefiting, sitting back, sort of chuckling over the whole thing, the Kansas City Royals. Out in front again, pulled a foul over the roof. Royals know that whether they meet the Yankees or the Red Sox, they'll come in 1 pitcher shy for the championship series, having to play this extra game.
They've already put out their pitching rotation, too, the Royals. Leonard, Gura, and Splitorf in the first 3 ball games.
He struck him out. Oops. Yaz tried to check the swing and could not. Guidry gets his 3rd strikeout. I'd heard Whitey Herzog say earlier that if he played the Red Sox, he would start Leonard, but if he played the Yankees, he would start Splitorf in the first game. The note sheet here in Boston says, as Bill gave them to you, Leonard, Gura, and Splitorf. Here's Carlton Fisk, an invaluable man to the Boston Red Sox. He's played hurt a lot this year. An outstanding catcher. Good hitter. .283 average, 20 homers, 88 runs batted in. Strike one. And now you see the shadow Bill's talking about from that angle. You can see the shadow coming out toward the home plate area. Another inning or so, the hitters will be in the shade. And the pitcher will be thrown out of the bright sunshine. Advantage pitcher.
No, I talk about that so often, Frank, because it's so important. You know, as a hitter, you hate to see those shadows move in on you. Of course, if you're a pitcher, you don't mind.
No. I think pitchers rather see every game start about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, wouldn't they? 3:30. No ball, 2 strike count on Carlton Fisk. 2 outs, none on. Center field, Rivers, can he get to it? He can, and he makes the catch deep. 3 up, 3 down, into 4. It's Boston 1, the Yankees nothing.
Hey, cats, the joint is jumping up here at the long end.
We go to the 5th inning here at Fenway Park. The Yankees will bat Roy White, Brian Doyle, and Bucky Dent, the lower third of the batting order, against Torres. Hitter is still in sunshine. The shadows get closer and closer. Impossible to get a ticket for this ball game. Stadium completely sold out. Roy White struck out his first trip. Torres has walked 1, struck out 3, allowed 2 hits. Double by Rivers and a single by Piniella. 2 balls and no strikes on Roy White. Roy's made such a great contribution down the stretch, Bill, and I know I like to see the veteran player come through in clutch situations.
No, he has done that. Didn't get a chance to play early, but he has really made his presence felt lately.
No question about it. That's ball 3. 3-0. And he has to duck away from ball 4. Second walk by Torres. Torres walked Rivers leading off the ball game. Mickey stole second and died there as the next 3 hitters could not move him up. Munson struck out, Piniella grounded out, and Jackson flied out. This is the 3rd inning out of 5. The Yankees have had the leadoff man on. Brian Doyle is the batter. Slap hitter, chokes way up on the bat handle. Strike 1. Brian's older brother played right here for the Red Sox. Roy White at first, Scott holding. White's going, and it's hit sharply to the second baseman, Remy, who throws out Doyle. Had they not had White going, that would have been a double play. But White broke, and no throw to second base.
Here it is again. Brian hits the ball hard on one hopper to Remy, who thinks about going to second, but changes his mind and makes a sure play at first base. The Yankees have hit the ball hard, but they've hit the ball right at people. I don't think any ball has been harder hit all afternoon. The ball Reggie Jackson hit to Jim Rice.
You don't hit a ball any harder than that. Bucky Dent up, fly to right his first trip. And pops this one up out behind second. Burleson is there. Fights off the sun as he makes the catch. And there are 2 down.
This is going to be a little some kind of confrontation here, Frank Messer, with Mike Torres pitching to Mickey Rivers. Mike's been trying to get away with 2 pitches. The fastball, which he normally leads the batter off with, and you throw it up and in on you to break you off. Then he'll throw you the slider. We watch this play again with Dent popping it up. Mickey, a pretty good fastball hitter. So he sat over there and he's seen that Torres has thrown only 1 changeup all ball game and 1 curveball. And let's see what Torres does with it. First of all, they're going to move Scott back. They're not going to play him in shallow at first base.
Mickey has walked and doubled. Slaps it left side. Roy White almost hit by it, and they make the throw to third, and White is out. Burleson to Brohammer, and Roy White is out at third on the fielder's choice to retire the side. At the end of 4 1/2, it's Boston 1 in the... I'm Red Holz.
Alertly throws the ball at third. White had to change direction, and he's... I don't know if you ever tagged him or not, but he's called out easily there at third base by the third base umpire, Steve Palermo. So a heads-up play by the Red Sox.
It was. You saw Burleson just take a quick glance over toward first base as he fielded that ball and realized his best play was to go for the lead runner, and he got White easily. He just did. He glanced quickly to first base. His momentum was carrying him away from that play, Bill. He would have had to stop, set himself, and throw. Good play by Burleson. All right, we go to the bottom half of the 5th. Freddie Lynn leads off, to be followed by Hobson and Scott. Breaking ball misses. Lynn hit the ball deep to center field, and Rivers caught it. back in the second inning. Boston leads 1-0. Foul ball.
Johnny Pesky still has good hands. He played in the last American League playoff game here against the Cleveland Indians, along with Cleveland Indian president Al Rosen and the present Cleveland skipper Bob Lemon.
That's right. Lem sat on the bench. He was not in that game, but he was in uniform for the Indians. Check swing, grounder right back to Guidry. I believe, as I recall that game in 1948, Johnny Pesky and Bobby Dorr were the only two Red Sox to get extra base hits in the game, and they were that year considered to be an outstanding hitting ball club.
Yeah, but Gene Bearden had a pretty good knuckleball.
That's right, left-hander. Butch Hobson is the batter. Lou Boudreau hit a couple of home runs in that game as the playing manager of the Indians. Hobson grounded out to third his first time up. Guidry starts him off with a strike. Now the Heat misses, 1-1. Boston leads 1-0 on a second inning leadoff home run by Carl Yastrzemski. Foul back.
Ouch, that got Munson. So that rising fastball, Frank, and that sinking slider. The catcher gets beaten up quite a bit. Get on top of that slider. Underneath the rising fastball.
That will be out of play. Catcher really works at his job. It's not only physical, but takes a tremendous mental toll.
You're blamed for as many long balls as a pitcher.
Yeah.
They would probably say you shouldn't have called that pitch.
Foul ball, foul ball.
Let's watch it again. The ball is down on Hobson. He goes down on the ball and pulls it. The third base umpire, Steve Palermo, right on the play. The ball just outside the bag. Nettles diving. Didn't have to get dirty.
That's Guidry's favorite two-strike pitch. Ball moving down into the right-hand hitter. He struck out more men on that pitch this year, I think, than any other one. But Hobson got enough of it to stay alive. And it is off his glove. Hobson settles for one base as Roy White gets to the ball quickly. Base hit.
Let's watch it again. It's not Nettles between hops here. Same kind of pitch, up a little bit more. Nettles backs off just a little here, and the ball comes up, and it hits the webbing of the glove and doesn't stay in. Hobson decides to hold at first base. I thought he might have had a shot at going to second, but he decided to play it safe.
All right, the Red Sox with one out have Hobson on. That is their third hit of the game. George Scott, the batter, doubled off the center field wall his first time up. Strike one. Scott was benched for a while for not hitting. Then when he came back on the lineup, he has been hitting the ball better. One ball and one strike. That one got the plate umpire, Don Deckinger. One ball, two strikes. Struck him out. Guidry gets his fourth strikeout. Boston is leading 1-0 here in the 5th inning. A home run by Yastrzemski in the 2nd, the only scoring in this game. Jack Brohammer sacrificed in the 3rd inning, following a double by Scott. Well, television replays last night when I came into Boston, Bill, on Brohammer catching the final out of the ball game yesterday for the Red Sox against Toronto. You'd think it was the final game of the World Series, as elated as he was and as his teammates were. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, they hung in, Frank, just like the Yankees coming from 14 games back. They could have given up. They did not. Red Sox, you got to give them credit. They hung around. When the Yankees blinked, they took advantage of it.
Guidry just lobs it over there. Mark of 2 good ball clubs. Neither one gave up any time during the year. Foul back. Red Sox had the strong first half, the Yankees the strong second half, then Boston came back strong in the last week or so. In the air left field, Roy White will be there. And that retires the side at the end of 5. It's Boston 1, the Yankees nothing.
What? I'm sorry, go on.
I'm just going to give the batting order here for the 6th inning, Bill.
I was going to say the same thing. They've got the meat of their batting order coming up here against Mike Torres, Munson, Fennell, and Jackson. And wonder if Mike will continue pitching the same pattern. So far, it's been successful for him. He's only given up 2 base hits to the Yankees.
He's got Munson in 2 key situations. In the 1st inning with Rivers at 2nd and nobody out, Torres struck him out. In the 3rd inning with Rivers at 2nd and 2 outs, Torres again struck Munson out. If the Yankees win this game and go on to Kansas City, we will be televising tomorrow night's game here on 11 Alive WPIX at 8 o'clock. And as they say in the trade, no road company, the original cast. Outside of 3rd, strike 1 on Munson. But right now, the Red Sox have a 1-0 lead built around the home run by Yastrzemski. Foul ball again as Munson is lunging at the
Yep,
pitcher.
he's got him he's throwing that slider, Frank, low and in and low and away. And Thurman, obviously, I think, is having trouble picking the baseball up.
Well, now, Bill, the shadow you talked about before has reached the home plate area.
Well, he had trouble before. When he struck out the 2 times the shadow wasn't there, he was still lunging for the ball. He struck out once on a very bad pitch, low and away.
In the dirt.
Yep.
Tried to take that one to right field and fouled it away.
Well, certain parks just give you trouble. I remember Houston. I never daytime games there, which they seldom played, but in the Astrodome there was right straight out in center field. The sun would shine through there. Never could hit there. That's the way I stood at the plate.
Foul this one back.
Nobody else had any trouble.
I think over the course of baseball, there have been some parks that hitters could hit in no matter who pitched. Other parks, they couldn't get a base hit in, save their life, no matter who pitched.
Well, and you think about it, you psych yourself out.
All right, Torres has Munson down. No balls, 2 strikes. Check swing. Did he check it? He did not. He's called out. He's called out by the first base umpire, Jim Evans. Munson is called out by Evans. Here it is.
That ball away from Munson, going down, and the bat crossed the plane of the plate. Sometimes that's one of the points they look at, and evidently Jim Evans felt that that was far enough to call Munson out. Fourth strikeout for Mike Torres.
He has made Munson look bad at the plate in this game. Struck him out 3 times in a row now. Lou Piniella, 1 for 2. Center field, Lynn is after it. Never took his eye off the ball, and he's got it. He had to go a long way for that one. It was hit hard. Never took his eye off of it.
Now Scott's saying something to Mike Torres as Reggie Jackson stands in. He wants to be a little more careful with Jackson. He grooved the fastball to Reggie last time up. And Jackson got it off, but didn't get under the ball. Just hit it silently and drove it to Jim Rice in right field. Really playing it safe, Frank. It's just the 6th inning, and Scott's going to guard the line at first base. Normally, you wait until the 8th, 9th inning to do that.
And the dirt bounces back on the screen. First time up, Reggie hit a fly ball to left field. The wind was blowing from left to right at that time. And I've got to feel the wind held the ball up. It was caught right at the foot of the wall by Yastrzemski, a towering fly. Then Reggie lined out to the right fielder, Rice. Two balls, no strikes. Redsox are out in front, 1-0. We're in the 6th inning. Mike Torres has allowed the Yankees only 2 hits. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Well, you very seldom hit a home run, Frank, when you swing that way. Normally, you keep your eye on the ball and just carry it through, and that's when you hit the ball well. When you end up spinning around like that, you very, very, very seldom hit the home run. The pitcher almost has to hit your bat.
Torres thought he had that one for a strike. He was halfway to the dugout.
Nice curveball low and in.
Torres trying to buy one.
His second breaking ball he's thrown this ball game. He can get in trouble now if he walks Jackson. Nettles next up. He's got a pitch in the stretch should he not get Jackson.
He's got him on the ground ball to Remy. And at the end of 5 1/2, it's Boston 1, New York
0. You're never going to believe the deal I made on this Toyota Corolla.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota.
I got a great year-end deal on a tough Toyota truck.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota.
It's the best time ever to buy a brand new 78 Toyota car or truck. You get your money's worth and more on every one. But act fast for better selection still at 78 prices.
Just ask for it, you get it, Toyota.
Harrison Golden is trying to sell himself a state controller based on the job he's done on New York City. Mr. Golden would like us to forget he deceived the public with reports the SEC called misleading. Or that Arthur Levitt criticized Golden's audit as non-verified and flawed. But New York voters aren't buying. Ned Regan for state controller. He knows when to say no.
Ball one. Chambliss had charged. Nettles broke back to cover third base. Hopeful of a force play. Or rather, not a force play, but a play at third. Guidry falls behind 2-0 to Remy. Field it, so the runner will advance. Nettles throws him out to Chambliss. 5-3 sacrifice moves Burleson over to third. Remy did what he wanted, made Nettles field that ball. So no chance of a play back at third. That's how they feel about Jim Rice here in Boston. Infield is in with a runner at third, one out. Got to play him in tight. Fouled it off Munson, strike one. In all probability, Jim Rice will be the most valuable player in the American League. I have to feel he and Guidry will finish 1-2. Not necessarily in that order, but the leaning is toward Rice. Cannot get it. It's a base hit. And Boston goes out in front 2-0.
Here it is again. Frank looked like he might have handcuffed Rice, but this fellow's strong. Got the back way in and then got the head of the bat out. Really didn't open his arms up and get a good swing, but he's so strong that he just ripped that ball to center field.
He really did, as you could see it on the replay, just muscled that ball. Pure strength. Yastrzemski up, one out, Rice at first. Yastrzemski homered leading off the second. He struck out in the fourth. Boston leads 2-0. Ball and a strike. Yastrzemski batting .277 for the year. Now 17 homers. Rice at first. 2 balls, 1 strike to Carl. Now the plate umpire will take a look at the baseball. Don Denkinger calls for it. Rubs it up and gives it back. Red Sox now have 2 runs on 5 hits and lead 2-0. 3 balls and a strike to Yastrzemski. Had him going for a big breaking ball.
Well, what happens, Frank, as you get older, you become a one-pitch hitter. You either hit the fastball or you hit the curve. You got to make up your mind, hit one or the other. It's hard to handle both as the older you get. That's why I question whether Carl really wants to play 5 more years. Plus, you become more susceptible to injuries as you go along.
Runner goes. Bouncer to Chambliss, no play to second. He'll take it back to first to get Yastrzemski. 2 down. That will bring Bob Levin out. They'll They'll discuss Carlton Fisk with Lynn on deck and first base open. Would you rather pitch to Fisk or pitch to Lynn? Bob Lemon with his very low-key approach to baseball, making the decision as to whether or not to pitch to Fisk.
He's also looking out in right field. He's got Gossage throwing out there. I don't think that Lem wants to make a pitching change here, but no, he isn't. He's going to go on back.
Well, in the last two American League playoffs, to decide the season winner, Bob Lemon has watched the games from the dugout. In 1948 as a pitcher for the Cleveland Indians, in 1978 as the manager of the Yankees, in this same ballpark.
And it looks like they're going to put Fisk on. That was the decision they made out on the mound.
They would rather pitch to the left-hand hitting Lynn. This will be the first walk given up by Guidry, and it is an intentional walk. Guidry has struck out 4 men. Fred Lynn will step in with runners at first and second. Ball 4 is thrown, and Fisk goes to first. Runners first and second, 2 outs. Boston leading 2-0 here in the bottom half of the 6th. Fred Lynn, the batter. Lynn in the second inning hit a ball to deep center field, and Mickey Rivers ran down and caught. Then in the 5th, he grounded back to the pitcher, Guidry. Boston in front, 2-0. 2 on, 2 out in the bottom half of the 6th. Ball 1. That is slicing foul, well back in the seats and left. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul ball on the right side, and it's 1-2. Runners first and second, 2 out. Three balls and 2 strikes. Make that 2 balls and 2 strikes on Lynn, 2-2. And now it is 3-2, and the runners will be going. Rice will break from second, Fisk from first. Right field, Pinella's after it. And he's got it. What a catch by Piniella. Made a basket catch going back toward the corner. And that retires the side. Bill White will carry along. End of 6. Boston 2, New York 0.
Get a new stereo. Get it now. Because Crazy Eddie can't be beat. With prices so low, he's practically giving it all away. Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane.
When you break horses for a living and you do it wrong, they can break you first. But when you do it right, you can turn a terrified animal into a horse a man can count on. And now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we